We've historically always had some apprentices on the books from when my father was training. He was very good with the young riders, bringing them through, and he had a very good record of producing good jockeys. Some very accomplished riders come through and start their time here at Kingsclere and go on to make very successful careers as jockeys. The apprentices get a riding allowance when they're riding against senior jockeys in most races. This starts at £7, so it's £7 off the weight allocated to the horse, which is obviously an incentive for trainers and owners to want to use apprentice jockeys. If you get a good apprentice who is riding to the same sort of ability as jockeys without a claim, it's a very useful thing for us to have. And obviously encourages us to use them and get their careers going.
I'm Annalisa Balding, I'm Andrew's wife, and I help to look after the staff at Kingsclere. It's a huge team, we've got 84 full-time at the moment. 5 apprentices as very important key members of the team. Very much boys, girls, whichever, it's no difference to us. The importance of them is actually not just on horses, but it's their personality and their desire to learn about racing, which is very important. Remembering that these kids come into Kingsclere when they're 16 years old, they've just left school, they've probably never left home before. Learning to ride is very important to them, but it's actually the other bits of life as well. They live in a hostel, we've got 24 living in at the moment, and we try and teach them about everything that you need in the world. Life skills, we call them.
I'm Jason Watson and I'm an apprentice jockey at Andrew Balding's. The unique thing about this place is it's not at one of the big areas like Newmarket or Lambourne. It's kind of out of the way, and it's quite a special place really. It's got a lot of history behind it, and I think that's what gives it its character. There's a hostel, and all the apprentices and younger staff tend to live in the hostel until they're about 20 or so, and, or whenever the boss decides that they could move out and live in a house.
Recent years, obviously Martin Dwyer was my father's last sort of successful apprentice.
Olivia Grace running on Indian Prince on the far side. Dominica the Trader trying hard. Dominica the Trader, Indian Prince, Dominica all out. Continent finishing late. Dominica Continent.
Lucky enough to win a Derby and an Oaks, and has had a great career obviously. And after him, Liam Canary, Tom Brown, Oisin Murphy, William Buick, David Probert, and of the current crop obviously we've got some pretty promising riders in Joshua Bryan, Will Cox, Jason Watson, and a couple coming through who hopefully will be every bit as successful as them in time.
All 5 of those guys, and Kaylee obviously being a girl, have got huge potential. They're all going to do it at different stages and at different ways at the moment. There's neither a right way of doing it or a wrong way. Jason's pretty hard on himself. He expects a lot of himself. He goes to the jockey coach 4 days a week. He is an amazing understanding of the race.
I'd say I've ridden in the Lincoln for Martin Mead on a horse called Dolphin Vista, who won the Cambridgeshire 2 years ago under George Wood. I was very lucky to get that ride and very privileged. Yeah, unfortunately didn't get on so well in it, but it was just such a great experience to ride in a race like of that class. And then obviously I've had a good few rides for the boss now, and he's a great supporter of me. I'm very grateful, very lucky to have that backing from your boss. Good jockeys that are out there now have started off here, and obviously, like you say, William Buick, Oisin Murphy, Dave Probert, even all the way back to Martin Dwyer. They've all started here and done very well in their careers, so hopefully I can be one of them.
Well, I think the variety of the gallops we have at Kingsclere is a help. I mean, before they've even set foot on a race course, they've ridden on right-handed gallops, left-handed gallops, undulating grass gallops, as well as obviously all the all-weather gallops here. And I think that's a help, and I'm always very keen that the young riders get a chance to ride plenty of work with the established jockeys, so they learn from them, and I think it's been that's been a big help. We've also sort of set it up to hopefully bring them on in terms of having 2 exercises for them and a gym for them to access. So fitness is obviously important, and also nutrition.
Nowadays, a lot of people are getting bigger and taller, which makes weight a lot harder. So obviously you've got to be very strict on your diet and exercise and just keeping yourself fit. And it's a lot to kind of juggle, and especially at a young age, I think it just shows how determined you are if you manage to pull through all that hard work. You just got to be very dedicated, and I think you really got to love the sport. And it's kind of one of those things where you either love it or you hate it, I think. And if there's any advice I could give, just keep going. There's a lot of bad times that you have to get through, but I tell you, it's worth it when you get the good days.